Hey, everybody. Hi, and welcome to Carmela's Wrestling Radio Relived, episode 101. We're getting there. We're getting there. Hi,
Woo!
Vicki. How you doing, honey?
I'm good. How are you? Happy New
Good.
Year. Happy New Year to
Thank you. Happy
everybody.
New Year. Happy New Year. You feeling better? We missed you last week.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. I'm
Sorry
glad.
about that. I
That's all
feel
right.
bad, but it
That's all
was it
right.
was
We
a good
missed
show. I
you.
did listen to it. Yeah. No,
It was funny. Yeah, you
I'm
can't get
better.
past Richard Brown, man. He was
Oh my
answering for
God.
Judy. He was telling me to be quiet. Are you kidding? And then poor Rich Swartz was like, I'm trying to be nice. I said, no, you can't do that. You can't just jump in.
Well, that's what I do. It's like I'm so engrossed in the stories. I just want to listen. And then when they
Exactly.
finish, then I'll, ask a question or whatever. But then you usually ask it and it's like, okay, well.
Well, stop me. Like Richard Brown, man, he was like not letting anybody go ahead of him, but it was a great show. They both want to
It
come back,
was.
which is good.
Yes.
Um, okay, a couple things. Number one, I want to say happy birthday to my little baby who is 29
Yes.
years old today, my Nellie.
Nelly. Happy
I had a
birthday,
beautiful
Nelly.
picture of her behind me, and she
Mhm.
freaked out and she said, I want no pictures of me on that podcast. So I had to take it off. I could sneak it back on, but somebody will tell her and then she'll never talk to me again. So we had a really nice day today. I took off from work to spend time with her. We went and had some lunch. We went to Barnes and Nobles to look at some books. And now she's got her fiance's here with her cake that we got her, and she's going to be hanging out with her friends tonight. The mommy job is over. I did all that. It's done. But it was a good day. She's a great I God
Good.
bless her. She's an
She
awesome
is.
kid.
She is
She
just
really is.
amazing human being. You
She
did a
is.
good
She's
job raising her. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. The other two, maybe not so much, but her, she's good. Okay, the other thing I want to say, I have to say this because I promised that I would say it on the podcast. Debbie and I went to have breakfast
Hi,
at IHOP.
Debbie.
She's not here, but say, oh, sorry. I thought you thought she was here.
No.
We went to the IHOP to have breakfast because they have a special $6 thing for seniors, like us. So anyway, we went in there and we're sitting there and no waiter, no waitress, no waiter, no waitress. So we're just sitting there. And Debbie, because Debbie doesn't say anything. She's sitting there going, and I said there, Debbie, you got to use your words. I said, that's not going to get us a waiter. And she's like, so I called another waiter over and I said, excuse me. I said, could you maybe get us a waitress or a waiter? And he's like, yeah, okay. So this young man comes over. What a sweet, sweet young man. He was so amazing. He couldn't apologize more. He was very nice. Like he went out of his way for us, like from that moment on. He was so kind. I looked at his little name tag, and his name tag, I guess, was Dorian, but the way it was spelled in French. So it was spelled Dorian. And I said to him, is that Dorian? And he said, yeah. And we were talking and I was telling him, what I did on the side of the podcast, blah, blah, blah. I tell everybody. And he was like, really excited about that. He likes wrestling and all that. And I said, he was telling me what he's doing. Besides being a waiter, he's going to go into the military and he's in college. And I told him how great that was and everything else. So he left us for a minute, came back and he goes, I just went and told my mom because his mother worked there. And of course, me, I'm like, well, can I see her? Can I talk to her? He's like, yeah. So he went and got her. She came over to the table. And I mean, if you saw this lady, like she don't mess around. Okay. So she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to tell you should be so proud of your son, blah, blah, blah. She said, well, he better be nice. And he, you could tell she was one of those moms, like I would beat his butt if he wasn't. And then we got to meet the boss who was there. And his name is Rudolfo, and he was very kind as well. So I said to Daniela, I said, well, I told him I was going to give him a plug, for their store. And she goes, Mom, it's not their store. It's a chain. Okay. So it's like IHOP is all over the place. I'm like, shut up. Okay. He
Well,
was
you
the guy
can.
running it.
Which IHOP was it?
It was the one on Route 33 in Hamilton Township.
There you go.
So you just go in there, say hi to Rudolfo, say hi to Durian, and tell them that Carmela sent you. Well, they would know because I wrote it on a napkin. I guess what? I didn't have any cards with me, but whatever. So I just wanted to say that. I wanted to say that it's extremely wonderful to have people who are good in their profession and who at least try to make up for, sore spots. Well, okay. we're going to go right to the show because our two guests today are
you're forgetting.
what?
We have an update about your boy Devious.
Oh, we're going to do that now. Okay, great. I was going to wait and see if we could get him on, but yeah, go ahead. You take it. I'm so excited about him.
Our boy Devious Cass, who is with Super Crazy and Skid Row Academy. He's doing wonderful. And he has been traveling up and down the East Coast, really. Well, he went to Florida. And he got to be with Natalia Neidhart.
And her husband.
And her husband. And he posted a picture of it. And it was just like a proud mama moment. It was just like, oh my God, and he said it was, such a great experience. So we just want to say congratulations to him.
Yes. And I'll give you the proud mama part. I'm going to be the proud aunt. Because I jumped in on the bandwagon after, but God bless you. We're going to have him back on the podcast. And I just want to say one thing before you go on. Well, we had somebody who came on the podcast or wrote to me on YouTube and said, I don't know why you always have these kids on. They don't mean anything. They're not anything. Why? Like nobody wants to hear about that. Well, guess what? Okay, exactly. Guess what? See what happens when you have kids on the show? Not that we did that, but it helps in every way possible to promote people. And I just think that was
And rude. You know what? To whoever said that statement, you know what? Every one of your favorite wrestlers started
exactly
as a kid, majority as a kid.
Right. That's exactly.
And in the indies and, and even back, in the day, your Hogans, your Flairs, they all started out young and having to go to school and then working their way and getting up there. And, it's now, are the chances of any of them making it to WWE or AEW? It is a long shot, but it happens. It does happen. So you know what? Bite me. I don't care.
Yeah, and there's no need for that. And you know what? People want us to have people on like, The Rock and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. And you know what? I wouldn't even want to have them on, first of all. But secondly, you got to understand something, okay? Whether you do or you don't, I really don't care. But you got to understand something. We are number one, just starting out. And number two, this is what we want to do. We're doing what we want to do. We're trying to promote people. We're trying to help people. We're trying to do the best we can for people. We're trying to have a first class type of a podcast. And I think we do. And so do a lot of other people. So with that said, okay, Jeannie, was there something else you wanted to finish saying? I know I interrupted you and I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Well, I think that was it. I know Super Crazy's having their show tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. The flu is going around, major respiratory infections are going around, and
it's a lot.
I'm finally getting my stent removed on Tuesday. I ain't looking to get sick.
I don't blame you. Good for you. Good call.
I'm staying home today, but it's going to be a good show.
Good call. Yeah, it is. Okay, I just heard from Susan Green, which is you have to apologize to you because I was on my phone. She's having a hard time getting on. She said for some reason it said the browser is blocked. I don't know what that means. So I told her to recheck it and, do the best she can. So she got the link. In your case, you didn't get the link.
Yeah.
But she got the link, but it's not letting her come on. So we have Susan Green hopefully going to be on during this hour. But in the meantime, we do have our other guest, and her name, she wrestled under Princess Victoria, and her name is Vicki Otis. And believe me when I tell you, I would love to have Susan Green on here as well. Don't get me wrong. But I think this lady can hold her own. I really do. We were talking to her ahead of time. So let's bring her on, okay? Hi, Miss Princess Victoria. How are you?
Hello, ladies. I'm doing good.
Hello.
I'm doing better than you are, Jean. Because I only had it for 3 days. I'm just getting to where I was sleeping 15 and 16 hours a day
Yeah.
and had the fever.
Mhm.
Had the worst dream. You know those fever dreams?
Yeah.
The only problem was everybody that was in the dream had passed on.
Oh well.
Oh.
And I sat straight up out of bed when I realized what was going on. You know, you can get out of a dream if you want to. And I
Yeah.
sat straight out of bed. I said, "Oh no, no, no!" And I went in and got me a cup of coffee, and I've been up ever since.
Oh, I do
So
that. That's what I don't sleep a lot. I really don't. I don't know why. Sometimes and even going to work and everything, I'm up all night long. I just can't sleep. But that's what I do. If I have a bad dream or something having problems, I'll just get up and have a cup of coffee and just screw it. I'll stay up the rest of the night. Let's talk real quick about the fact that you are a huge, huge name in professional wrestling. Okay. We talked a little tiny bit before we started the show, and you said a few things to me that were amazing. And I had said that to you, I want you to talk like that on the show. Um, Before we go into what you said, and I will remember it, can you tell me how you got started in professional wrestling?
I got tricked.
Okay. By who?
And I don't mean tricked out. I got tricked, or
Okay.
as I should say, ribbed. Um, I had left home at 14. It was one of those leave or die situations.
Right. Okay.
And my bio mom and I made a deal that she would write me a note because this was 50 years ago. And you could write a note, hand it to your kid, and they could go buy you a pack of cools. Well, she wrote a note that I was 16, not 14, so that I could get, the go in, take classes, and I became a waitress. Well, I started going to the matches. And with my first paycheck from the restaurant, I bought this chiffon, and I'll never forget it. It was a yellow chiffon dress with a Chinese collar. And do you remember the Candies high heels?
Oh,
Yes.
oh, that's part of the reason I have a bad back now. Are you kidding?
That's why
Uh-huh.
my toes go inward.
Yep.
Um, and I went to the matches that night, and Sandy happened to be standing behind Sherry, who was his wife, selling tickets. And I put up my $5. I got handed my $5 back, and I got handed a front row ticket.
Nice.
And I looked at Sandy. I said, you know, this is not. I didn't pay for this.
Right.
He said, no, and that's your seat from here on out. Well, at the restaurant, which was a Denny's restaurant on the corner of 23rd and Burnside in Portland, I had gotten in a little altercation with the district manager. I'm not going to go into it. It's a little long. But
Okay.
anyhow, I went to the matches that Saturday night, and I told Sandy I needed a job. Now, here I am in this yellow chiffon dress with candy high heels on and those back-breaking nylons.
Uh-huh.
And he says, well, yeah, you can start tonight. He says, grab that broom and start sweeping. I looked at him like he was out of his mind. I said, I can't do that. I need to go home and change.
Right.
Well, all right, be back at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. So I'm working for Sandy. I'm paying my dues. We tear down the ring on Friday night, set up for Sandy's flea market on Saturday.
Okay.
Tear down the ring on Saturday, or tear down the flea market on Saturday afternoon between 5 and 7:30 and set up the ring. Then Saturday night we tear down the ring and set back up for the flea market. So there was no sleep from Thursday night till Sunday.
Okay.
And I'd been working for him a while. He came up to me and he said, Vicki, he said, I have this girl who wants to train at wrestling, but I can't let her wrestle the guys. Okay. Basically, what does this have to do with me? He said, can you come be a body for her to practice on?
Yeah. Okay.
And like every good wrestler, I said, how much does it pay? And I ended up in there. And it was 2, 3 weeks. Now, this was back in the day when you trained, you didn't
Right.
play at it. There were 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, except for Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 4 days a week. And that's if you weren't living with Sandy like me and Velvet were,
Okay.
because then we had to train those days too.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so I'm in the ring, and the girl didn't show up. And I kind of stood around with, sucking on my thumb. The next night, or that night, Sandy has me hooking up with the guys and all that, learning the basic, running the ropes. And then about 4 weeks later, I said, wait a minute. Sandy hired me to be here because that girl couldn't train with the guys, but I'm here and now I'm training with the guys. Well, by that time, I was hooked.
Oh yeah.
I was a fan to start out with, and I think that's the best way to become a wrestler is be a fan first. And hence, down the road, I I became Princess Victoria.
Okay.
And Sandy trained Velvet as well. Velvet showed up from Canada. Well, Sandy got tired of me being late. Velvet was staying with him because she had family
Right.
in Vancouver, and she was underage. And Sandy told me one Saturday night, he said, I want you to go home. I want you to pack everything in your room because I lived in a wino motel. You showered down the hall with a knife
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
your hand
Yeah.
because the lock didn't work well. And I packed everything I had, which wasn't much, got in the car, and started living with Sandy. And then the real training began. When we were training with the last 4 guys and me and Velvet, there were 4 trash cans around the ring, one on each side. It wasn't if you were going to throw up, it's when you were going to throw up, which trash can you were going to hit, if you even hit one. There was one day that Magnum TA, Terry Allen, very good
Yeah.
friend of mine,
Yeah.
was training with us. And there was this big bay door where it looked like 18 wheelers backed in. And Sandy had the door up. I was on this side of the ring. The door's in front of me. Terry was kneeled down in almost a thinker's position, and I could see steam coming off his head. Now, understand, it was 75 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
That's how hard we trained. And I truly, and see, then the trainer's job was not to train you to wrestle. It was to run you off. If they wanted to make sure your heart was in the game,
Right.
and they would do everything they could. I found out a few years ago that Sandy had called up his son, Jesse Varr. Is this PG-13?
You can do whatever, say whatever you want.
All right. Sandy had called his son up, Jesse Varr, and he said, Jesse, I can't make this bitch quit.
There was none of that happening. None of that.
I can't ever remember quitting.
Good.
I'm one of those people. Grandma always instilled me. If it ain't worth doing right, it ain't worth doing.
Exactly.
And Velvet and I ended up traveling together. Mm-hmm. Then we ended up at Moolah's because Sandy had booked us for almost a year in the Pacific Northwest with Don. Right. Pacific Northwest Wrestling, Don Owens, Al Tomko, All-Star, and then Ed Moretti in Idaho. And he came to us one day and he said, look, girls, I can't get you any more bookings because Moolah had a stranglehold on women's wrestling. And that's when I ended up in at Moolah's.
So tell us a little bit about what it was like wrestling or training under Moolah.
Moolah never trained me. The only time I was ever in the ring with Moolah is when we were wrestling against each other. The ladies, number one, Sandy Bard did my training. When I went to Moolah's, I was already trained.
Okay.
And Sandy had made sure about once a week he would bring in a different wrestler. You know, Ed Wiskowski, Buddy Rose, T.A., Stan Stasiak, Dutch Mantell, you know, all those people that were in the Pacific Northwest. And see, I was blessed. I came up in the Pacific Northwest in its heyday. I was seriously blessed. And the guys, from the time I started going to the matches, somehow I became little sister. And you didn't mess with little sister.
Right.
I heard of one gentleman being basically put in a locker for messing with me.
Wow. Okay.
Another one, Rip Oliver, that's another one of the guys I trained with, put me on his shoulders, and this guy had been pulling ribs on me, and I super glued his boots to the ceiling. And then there was one night, and this is one that I will take to the grave with me. If any of you have read my book, my childhood was just a teensy bit rough. And we were in Eugene. Rip came in and said, "There's a phone call from your mother in the office." Well, of course, my brain starts working. Who's died?
Of course.
And I get to the phone, and it's her. And she's telling me my stepfather, who had sexually assaulted me and my brothers, beat us beyond. I mean, I carried belt welts across my face, went to school with double black eyes.
My God.
And I'm still standing.
That's right.
And that's the reason I wrote my book. The first part, a large part of that book is about my childhood. And I did it for a reason. Because if somebody reads my story and I went from there to where I've ended up, I want them to know there's light at the end of the tunnel. Do not do a permanent solution to a temporary situation. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Not to interrupt you, but I have part of my childhood was similar to yours. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're absolutely right. I have been, and Jeannie and I talk about this all the time, because what happened to me as a child damaged me, period.
Of course.
It did. It effed around with my brain. It made me not trust people. It made me angrier. It made me, you know, like if I have a point I want to make, I'm going to keep fighting until I make that point, and you're not going to stop me. And if I think you're doing something wrong, even if you're not, I'm going to fight with you until, you know. And the thing is I'm constantly apologizing to people. I just had this incident just a little while ago to some of the people that I wanted to say hello to. I didn't get around to that yet, but to my very dear friend David, you know, like if something doesn't go my way, it just automatically is. And for somebody to say to you, forget the
or
past.
you think it's not going to go your way.
Exactly. Or you think it's not going to go your way.
You automatically think
right
that it's going to be bad.
Right.
Well, see,
when there's no evidence that it will.
Most people have fight or flight. We only have fight.
Exactly. And that's
because
the problem.
We've had to fight through to be here today.
Exactly. And when somebody says to you, you can't live in the past or try to forget that, how do you just forget it? You can't just forget it. And that's the thing. The past always comes back, especially situations like what you're talking about and what I went through. It doesn't just go away. No. And it makes you skeptical of everything in the world. It makes you hardcore. It does.
Yes. Well, and scientific proof. Somebody who's been sexually assaulted as a child, they're going to go usually one of two ways. They're going to be
Exactly.
totally anti-sexual and standoffish, or they're going to turn into a nymphomaniac and grab a hold because they're looking for love in all the wrong places.
Oh my God, that you're so right. You are so right. And unfortunately, that's the way it happens. And when you're 50, 60 years older than you were when it happened, you still don't have that control. I mean, I've had therapy. I'm sure you have. You can have years and years of therapy, but there's something doesn't click right then and there. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop,
No.
period.
Well, and
you're
see, if it wasn't for wrestling, that saved me. I mean, I was walking the fence and I was going down a real dark road. I was headed into the abyss. And wrestling literally saved my life because I went from this childhood of hate, control, abuse to I had all these big brothers protecting me, and they weren't in it for anything other than to take care of me. And that ended up being the story my whole time on the road. Even when I went to Mula, if I was in a car, there was somebody in that territory. Either I'd come up with them in wrestling or they knew somebody I had come up with and they'd gotten a call. I and whoever I was with was always taken care of. They would make sure we knew exactly where the venue was. They would make sure exactly which hotel to stay at. They took care of me. I found my true family when I walked into wrestling. And to this day, if it hadn't been for wrestling, there's no telling where I'd be.
Well, I agree with that, and I understand it totally. And I keep saying now in my old age, okay, is
Right.
when my daughter, whose birthday is today, she in reality saved me, because when she was little and my other kids were little, the first thing I was, always had that anger, and Jeannie too, God bless her, but I always had that anger and that, and then my daughter, over the years is like, Mom, you don't have to do that. It's okay. There's people who really and truly love you for who you are and not what they think they can get from you, and I've had to at times. And again, Jeannie, you're right here. We've had this conversation before where I am gung ho about, no, I'll hurt you. I'll get that out. And Jeannie's like, or my daughter, is that what you really want to do? Like, is that, that's not you. That's not the person that you are. That's not the person I know. But it's so hard even now, to try to get into a relationship or anything. It's like right away, you are constantly on guard, guard.
You're either looking for the minuscule wrong or you're pushing the panic button.
God.
I don't deserve to be loved like this. And I did that with my second husband, Jack Coptis. He was the love of my life, my soulmate, my best friend, the little brother I couldn't kill. He was either pissing me off, making me laugh, or holding me when I cried.
Yep.
And there was one day I will never forget. I was having a bad day, a really bad day. The brain was on overload. And I had told him the story of when things got rough, Grandma would sit on the couch and I'd lay my head in her lap and she'd pet my head and say, "Baby, it's going to be okay." And I'll admit it to this day, I was the favored grandchild. And one day I was just having this, and these days they don't come as often. I mean, the PTSD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jack helped me through that, but I pushed the panic button with him. And do you know he stayed?
Wow.
He stayed. We ended up married.
God bless.
He became the father my son never had. In fact, my son and I both have, I don't know if you,
Tattoo.
yeah, it's a screaming eagle.
Okay. Okay.
And Kevin had done a screaming eagle, this screaming eagle on Jack's forearm because he had it. He didn't get it in jail, but he had a jailhouse love tattoo, homemade. And I said, yeah. And then one day he came home and he had this screaming eagle. So both me and my son got the screaming eagle. He died July 28th, 08. We got it December 18th, 08.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Uh, he's not hurting anymore.
No.
And he's
That's the only
waiting on me.
consolation. Yep. That's the only
He's waiting on-
consolation.
Yeah, he's waiting
Yeah.
on me. And when him and I were together, we started realizing we knew each other before we met each other. And a girlfriend of mine, I went to a biker wedding, and she had set up cameras, and she called me over to her house. And I went to her house, and she said, sit down, watch this. You can see there's a crowd of 200 people. This was a biker wedding. I mean, she walked down the center of 50 Harleys.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And she called me up. She said, come over here. And she sat me down and she said, watch this. You can see Jack coming around the crowd this way. Now, we ran with the same crowd, but we'd never known each other, never met each other. And you see me coming around the crowd this way. As soon as we see each other, you can see us both do this, like a shot of electricity.
Yeah.
From that
Wow.
day till the day he died, we were joined at the hip.
Wow.
And
That's amazing. And that is so rare. That's so rare.
I'm blessed.
Yeah. And it's so rare that somebody, I always say I'm broken, but it's so rare that somebody finds a person who's broken and stays with them and helps them.
Well,
And I mean, it's a two-way street. Absolutely.
But
there's a lot of patience and understanding that needs to be done.
I got lucky with Jack because Jack had been broken too. He was adopted out. And it still gets me to this day. You know how when you're in that part of the relationship where you just go and you kind of run your hair down their head, run your hand down, you're just kind of petting them. Good boy, good boy.
Yeah.
And when I touched his head, it felt like the Rocky Mountain Range in relief.
Oh my God.
There was not a square inch on his head that didn't have a bump.
Oh God.
And come to find out, his adopted father used to hit him in the head with a 2x4.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
How did he live?
How did I live?
Yeah, how did I live?
How did you live?
Yeah, you're right. You just do. Yeah.
Ann Guile, I got her at 14 with it as a counselor. And by me knowing her name 50 years later, you got to know she did something. And the one thing she told me, she said, Vicki, you've got two roads you can take. You can take this road over here, and it's going to lead to the poor, pitiful me. Look what happened. Or you can take this road over here and realize that most kids who have been through what you've been through are dead, buried in a field, and nobody knows where they are. And
it's a choice.
It is.
If you have the right help. And I don't know about you, but for me, it affected self-esteem in the worst way, like even to this day. If somebody says something nice to me, my first instinct is, what'd you say that for? What do you want out of this? Why did you say that about me? It's not true. Why did you say that?
You might not say it out loud, but it's up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say it out loud too, but believe
Well,
me,
that's yeah.
it's like you feel like you're never worthy of anything good. But anyway, we got to stop talking about this. I'm going to cry again. Okay, let's
Don't
talk
you
about
cry.
wrestling. Let's talk
Wrestling.
about wrestling. Okay, so tell us a little bit about when you, and I'm going to get back to this now. When you spent time at the Moolah camp or whatever you want to call it,
The
did you
hill.
experience? Yeah, all right. Did you experience any of the? Susan calls it the compound. Did you
Yes.
experience any of those horror stories that we hear from most of the women that were there?
Oh yeah.
Is there any you want to talk about?
Lillian was now, and what I tell everybody is I have to put Lillian Ellison and Moolah. I have to look at them as two different people.
Okay.
Lillian Ellison, the booker, if she was still alive today, I'd walk up and slap the snot out of her.
Okay.
But Moolah, the wrestler, I have to respect. That woman came up in a hard time. We're talking 1949, 1950. They were shooting women. They weren't just, I mean, this was hardcore. Now at the hill, Moolah, like I said, was a master manipulator. She was of the divide and conquer, where I'm the type of person, let's just have a bigger group and then we can take it all over.
Right.
But she tried to keep us at each other's throats.
Okay.
So usually the first half hour to an hour on the road was two or four girls in the car. All right, what did Moolah tell you I did? Joyce Grable and I, if there was one day I went up there, Moolah had told me she had called me a thief because I had lived with her, and then I moved out down to another cabin, and Moolah had brought me in the office and said, "Did you take any of Joyce's towels?" And I'm sorry, but if I'm gonna be stealing, it's because my kid's hungry.
Exactly. It's not a towel.
And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Yeah, Joyce said you took two of her best towels." And I stood up. I said, "I'll be right back." Now, Joyce's house, if you've ever seen the compound, there's a road between two ponds.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce's house was the old school South Carolina huge steps wraparound porch. And I walked up to the bottom of the steps and said, "Joyce, get your ass out here now." When she came on the porch, and this is one of my favorite things, I said, "Come on, you and we're gonna rock."
Okay.
And she kept wanting me to come up the step. I said, "Do you think I'm that damn stupid?" Joyce never came off the steps.
There you go.
But Joyce never brought that in the ring. And neither did I. When we walked between that ropes, that was Joyce Grable and Princess Victoria, and Vicki and Joyce didn't have anything to do with it.
Good.
And I have to respect that woman for that.
Exactly.
But that's the kind of stuff Moo would do. There was I think it was my second Christmas there. Everybody came to Moolah's house Christmas Eve to exchange gifts. And Moolah basically bought $20 gifts for all the girls, a sweater or something like that. And when I opened my box, you've seen the brown outfit with the beads?
Yes.
That was in there. That was one of her little manipulating tactics.
Telling you that was what you were going to wear.
No, was to make the other girls jealous because that was $200 to $300 in an outfit.
Okay, I got you. All right.
This was hand beaded.
Oh wow.
Now, when I broke my neck, Moolah took me out to to the barn, she'd come over to the house and understand from the time I broke my neck, went to the hospital, got to South Carolina, I have maybe 2 minutes of memory of what happened. It's just flashes. And she'd take me out to the ring, take a bump. I'd take a bump and I'd scream. Well,
Wait a minute. You had already broken your neck
yes,
and she wanted you to take a bump.
yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, we're not done yet. That's the easy part.
Oh, go ahead. I'm
That's
listening.
the
We're
easy
listening.
part. So, couldn't take a bump. And one day she comes to me. She said, I got somebody on the phone. I want you to talk to him. And it was Ernie Van Gilder,
Okay.
the infamous Ernie Van Gilder from Holland. Super fan, money mark.
Okay.
And I talked to him on the phone and I made it very clear. Separate motel rooms. This is not going to be what you think this is going to be.
Mm.
And I mean, I made it very clear to him and Moolah. And when I got off the phone, you know, it was all set up. And Moolah made the comment, you know, hon, the nicer you are to Ernie, the nicer he'll be to you. You'll have a good payday. And, hon, you really need a good payday right now.
Really?
So I go over there.
My God.
Now, you got to know by now I ain't scared. And I get over there. We're staying at, it looks like a castle on the Rhine. And I wake up the next morning. Now, understand, I was a street kid. I've slept in doorways with newspapers for blankets, you know, slept at the top of a viaduct because it was warm from the exhaust from the cars, but you'd wake up with a headache because of carbon monoxide.
Right.
And I woke up like this, and his hand is in my hand, and I did the one thumb, and I'm flipping his wrist back. And I said, Ernie, I'll break it. And he stepped back. Now you got to understand, this guy wasn't ugly. He hadn't been beat by the ugly stick. He'd been beat by the whole damn forest. This guy was uglier than homemade sin. I mean, it was, you know, I'm not an innocent angel. I had good times when I was wrestling, but it was my choice.
Right. Exactly.
And it wasn't about money, and it wasn't about stature, and it wasn't about getting a match.
Right.
That was just, it's like people working in a business office. Everybody asks me, would you ever sleep with a wrestler? Yeah. Why? And they go to say, really? I said, wait a minute. You ever worked in a business office? Yeah. Where do you go for lunch? Who do you go to lunch with? People in the business. Who do you go have drinks with? People in the business. Who do you date? People in the business. Duh, my business is wrestling.
It sure is.
But anyway, I get back, and I didn't hear this until about 4 years ago. I get back. Moolah calls me into the office. Now, I know you know the yellow outfit and the brown outfit. You've seen the white outfit with the gold eagle.
Yes.
She said, I'll take that outfit, and that outfit, boots to match. That'll pay for the 3 months you owe me.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's still not the bad part.
Oh my God, Vicki.
And she says, now you need to go out and get a job because you need to start paying your rent. Or you need to pack your car and leave. I left the compound, with my Chevy Malibu station wagon packed with everything I own and $20 in my pocket.
Oh
That
my God.
still isn't the bad part. I just disappeared, right? One day I was there, one day I was gone. Come to find out, Mula had been telling everybody. Now, one story has it I was in rehab because I was addicted to cocaine. Another story she told is I was in prison because I got busted selling cocaine.
Oh my God.
That's the bad part. Sandy Barr, my adopted dad, Sean, his son, Roddy Piper, my brothers, a lot of them went to their graves thinking I was in prison for dealing cocaine. That was the worst part. She could have told him I met somebody and decided I was done with wrestling and got married. She could have told him I was pregnant. There's so many different stories she could have told. Why that one?
And it wasn't her place to say anything.
Well,
It really wasn't.
she had to explain what happened to Princess.
Well, yeah, but still, she was the cause of what happened to Princess. So it wasn't her place, I don't believe, to do any of that.
No.
I mean, it's bad enough from what we were told that she took a lot of money from you guys, like per match.
Judy Martin proved it. Had an attorney. Because when the Glamour Girls came around, they were no longer booked by Moolah. They were booked by Vince McMahon. So they were getting their paydays directly from Vince McMahon.
Right.
Well, we all kept a book. What town? How much was the pay? How many miles? Because, like, if there were, whoever was riding with me, didn't matter if it was one girl or three, they paid 5 cents a mile. Which, at that time, yeah, gas was cheap, but they were talking about wear and tear on the vehicle, the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, one night we drove 821 miles from Alexandria, Louisiana to Tampa, Florida, because Lillian did. I don't know if she took the money we were supposed to use for the flight or if she just didn't get us a flight. But I was working for Bill Watts, and I got a call from her that evening, and she said, "You've got to be in Tampa tomorrow night." And I called up Bill Watts, and he was one of the few promoters who would not send my pay to her. He put it in my hand, and he wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, he told me straight. I mean, he went to hand it to me, and I still drinking the Kool-Aid. And I said, "No, you need to send this to Moolah." He said, "I don't send anything to Moolah. You're the worker. You're here. I'm paying you." Couldn't figure out how a small town in Louisiana like Thibodaux, that I made more in Thibodaux, Louisiana than I made at Madison Square Garden semi-main event.
Because you got all the money.
Well, what happened was Judy went in after the Glamour Girls got big, and she talked to, I can't remember if it was Arnie Skoland or I think it was Pat Patterson, and she asked to see some copies of their checks from back in the days. Well, because of that book, we could match up.
Right.
She had all the proof. She went to a lawyer, and the lawyer says, "Yeah, you can get a conviction, but you ain't got enough money to make it whole. You don't have enough money to hire the lawyers that she's got."
Wow.
But it was proven. And I didn't realize it because I went from making, what was it, $235 an hour plus tips as a waitress to making $10,000. To me, that's one hell of an income
jump. Yeah,
right.
That is.
And that was something nobody ever talked about. It was just a given. You don't ask another wrestler what they made.
No.
And I never asked. I should have, but I didn't. But there were other things she did, like the way she treated Sherry Martel. But see, Sherry was smart. When she had enough of Moolah, she went up to Charlotte. She hooked up with the boys, and her and Buddy Rose become great friends. Buddy
Right.
helped her get into uh, working for Vince McMahon, and of course, then we come up with the great Sherry Martel.
Right.
And Moolah didn't treat her worth a dang. There were other people that Moolah messed over. There was one day, and I happened to be lucky enough to be witness to it. I was sitting on my back porch, and Moolah had a green girl coming in, and her parents were with her, and she told Joyce, go out and stretch her a little bit. Joyce broke the girl's arm. And
Wow.
I heard Moolah screaming at her, GD, and I won't use that word. I don't care if we're X-rated. I told you to stretch her. I didn't tell you to break her arm. Do you know how much money you just cost me?
Oh my God.
That's Moolah.
That's crazy.
That was one of the things and I've said this story a billion times. But Carmela was very dear friends with Dominic DeNucci. And through Carmela, I met him. And just an amazing, amazing, amazing man. And he wanted to train me to be a wrestler in the worst way. And I really wanted to do it because I was like, oh my God, this would be just amazing. But, and this was mid 80s. And he did get me in a ring and at his school, and he had the student suplex me. He said, I did it wrong, do it again. Okay, I did it again.
He didn't teach you to bump first?
No.
Oh, good
No,
Lord, have
This
mercy.
was just a one-day thing. We just went there to visit.
Yeah, we were just there to observe. And then he's like, hey, kid, everybody was kid. Hey, kid, get in the ring. And I knew how to get in the hold, and then I screamed as I went over. And, he says, you landed wrong, got to land with your knees bent, or you're going to have back problems. Like, Dominic, I love you. I'm not going to sue you. Don't worry. I'm fine. It's okay.
Right.
And he wouldn't let me out of the ring till I did it again. I did it correctly. And man, did I really want to do another one. And I wanted to do more. And but it was just in the back of my head that, especially at that time, women were so, they were at the bottom of the food chain. This was a boys' club. This was, I'm going to be disrespected and hurt and abused. And, I heard not all the stories, but some stories like about Moolah. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go work. Like, I knew Dominic would never do it, and so I was just like, I'm too scared. I don't want to put myself in the position of being mistreated.
Right.
And I was convinced that was just going to happen because it happened, from what I knew, every woman.
Well, Jeannie, there was a time I was working for Bill Watts in Louisiana. And we were at a convention, where they held the convention. So there was rooms over here, there, hallways this way and that way. Mm-hmm. And it was a maze to get to the ring.
Right.
And I'm not going to mention this gentleman's name because he's grown up since he lost that $1 million. And I was there, and Bill told him to take me to the ring when they called my name. Well, they called my name. We headed out the door. And he's doing the zigzag, blah, 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 right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm never going to figure out my way back. Then they call my name a second time. And we're still in the maze. Then he opens double doors, and I figure it's to the auditorium. No, he drops his drawers. He thinks I'm going to give him might as well say a blowjob on my way to the ring after my name had been called 3 times. Never mind any of that. I didn't like the guy anyway. And I came back because usually in my day, second call was as far as you went, and you still got some dirty looks. Third call, do not pass go, do not collect $200, get
Yep.
your gear, get out of my territory. And like I said, Terry Allen Magnum is still a great friend of mine. And he came in and he looked at me and he went like this. And when this guy did this, when he dropped his drawers, I looked at him. I said, let me tell you something, you son of a bitch. I might not beat your ass, but you're going to know I was there.
Exactly.
I get back to the dressing room. Terry comes in like this. I tell him what happened. And this is my experience. I was there another 2 weeks, never saw that man on the card.
Wow.
Good. That's rare that happens. That especially back then. Now it's a little different, maybe, but back then it was rare that you had that kind of kindness shown to you. But
I think
had
it's
it-
still going on. It might be better, but it's still, women are just treated like crap.
Quit putting up with it.
Exactly. But they
Quit.
can't because
Ladies,
they need a paycheck. And it's like, well,
you've paid your dues. If it's one of the boys or it's the promoter, why do you want to work for this promoter anyway? There are a few that I knew back in my day, promoters who were like that, and I never worked for them.
Mhm.
I refused.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like Jeannie just said, for some people, unfortunately, it's the money. But Becky Lynch was even saying up to 10 years ago, when she started in the WWE, it was still happening that there was this one particular guy who would blacklist you whether you slept with him or you didn't sleep with him.
Right.
He found a way,
you said yes or no. You were
look at what Vince McMahon did to women's wrestling. Evening gowns,
horrific.
underwear, negligees, high heel matches. The one that I almost lost my 55-inch DLP in 87. And up until the last 4 years, I quit watching wrestling because of this. Then he had the boys over in Kuwait. And they kept talking about Triple H was going to play Santa Claus, and whoever won the contest between the girls was going to play Santa's little helper. I'm a woman. It's a wrestling match. I'm thinking, wrestling. These two girls will wrestle. Whoever wins that match, these two girls will wrestle, and whoever wins that match is Santa's little helper. Well, they came out in the sand in front of God knows how many of our boys. And didn't notice they had high heels on. They had these cute little Santa coats. Well, I mean, everybody had their cute little coats. I mean, that was fine. I had no problem with it. Then they get in the ring and they drop their Santa clothes. Their Santa coats.
Yeah.
They have 3 triangles and butt floss. And then they start dancing. And the only thing that was missing were the poles. Now, understand, I do not blame the women for that.
No.
It's not their fault. They wanted to work, just like I wanted to work. Everybody told me not to go to Moolah. Roddy Piper, I stayed with him 2 weeks before I went to Moolah's in 1980. And he said, Vicki, do not go to Moolah's. You can stay here. I'll take care of you until you can get on your feet and get your own place, which I had no intention of getting on my own feet and getting my own place. Dude, I'm here. You're stuck. And I still went because I wanted to wrestle. And those girls are in the same position. Now, Since Vince has retired, have you noticed the change in women's wrestling since then? Rhea Ripley. I mark out
love
when
her.
she.
I love her.
All
Yeah,
right,
I
one,
do.
two, three. I
I
love
love her.
Absolutely.
She is just, she's nothing. She's not a cookie cutter.
No.
And see, that's all. Vince had all these actresses and cookie cutters and all that, and he degraded women's wrestling. He
Yes.
degraded my business. And I'll probably never get a Legends contract because I tell this story all the time.
Hey, you know,
Oh,
you got to
well.
do what you believe in, because, like, you know, he did a lot of things that were questionable, a lot
Well,
of things that were just wrong.
when everything came out about the girl and the defecating on her chest and watching her with three guys, why was everybody surprised? After how he degraded women on national TV, what, it had to be 10 times worse if you got him off camera.
But not only women, his wife and his daughter too.
Oh, that's another thing that happened.
He
that
wanted
night.
that storyline. Remember that he wanted a storyline saying that his daughter was pregnant with his child?
I found out about that. The one that got me was when Gary Hart went to supposedly Vinny's house. Linda was there, and Gary's telling her, "Look, your husband did this, and this, and you're going to pay for it." And then he walks her up the stairs. What's left to the imagine? Really?
Yeah, not much.
He did that to his own wife?
Yeah.
And
He
was
put her in a
do-
wheelchair in the wrestling ring as brain dead or mentally unstable and all that other stuff. This is his own family that he's doing. And like you said, imagine what he would do to somebody who was not a family member or just an employee or, you know, whatever. That's why
Right.
a lot of this stuff it grates my nerves. It really does. It gets under my skin because it makes me feel horrible for these women and for me and for people like us, you know. And it's like, where's your empathy? Where's your compassion?
He has none.
Clearly,
he has none.
Clearly.
And you can't blame it on dementia, which I understand he has dementia now, and I'm very sorry for that. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
No.
I would. I mean, my God, what Stephanie and Linda are going through. No.
What Jeannie said again?
Wait a minute, Jeannie, I have no sympathy, no compassion for that man whatsoever. So
I don't so much have.
I don't wish it on him, but if he's got it, karma, fuck you.
Right. But Stephanie and Linda are the ones who's paying.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Always.
I don't think they're all that innocent either. In my opinion.
I agree. I don't think they're innocent in it either. No.
Linda, okay, the daughter maybe not, but you know what? You went along with all of this. Granted, it was daddy, and granted, it was, you know, and all of that. But yeah, I'm not.
The good thing is where the matches are going now, where women are concerned. I mean, women are front and center, you know, right there in your face. You know, and I understand at first when they started coming out in all these barely theirs.
Yeah, the whole diva era.
Oh God.
God.
I call them cookie cutters. They didn't know a headlock from a hammerlock.
No. Yeah. And when somebody like Nikki Bella keeps saying I was the longest Divas champion, why were you proud of that? Stop it. You know? Right. That was nothing to be proud of. But that's all she's got. And that's the issue. That's the problem. But Vicki, I wanted to talk to you real quick a bit. Go ahead, finish what you're saying, then I'll ask you the question.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
It went.
I'm sorry.
No.
But when we first started talking before we went on air, okay, you had said to me, I was telling you about the fact that we're old school and we like to tell stories and that kind of thing. And you said to me that the kids today have no clue. Can we go back to that for a minute with what you were
Yes, we
saying?
can. And I feel sorry for the kids today. They have no idea what they're missing.
Exactly.
We, back in my day, we were a great, big, dysfunctional family. And I do mean family. I might be mad at Jeannie. I might be mad at you. But if either one of you call me up and say, I'm broke down at mile marker such and such, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, can you get here?
Exactly.
You get up, you put your robe on, you get in the car, and you go get your brother or sister. These kids don't have that today. Another thing they don't have is psychology. They have no idea how to pull, how to make me a mark again. You know, and I've been to a few matches where I've seen people that they turn me into a
Yeah.
mark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have to. We have to.
But these kids today in the dressing room, they're talking out a 15-minute match for 2 hours. And they're talking about every step they take. And I actually saw this happen, and I knew it was coming, where they missed something, and both of them stopped dead in the ring and didn't know where to go. Now, if you look at the night that Velvet and I got got the titles from Wendy and Joyce, and only people who've been around wrestling can see it, I messed up the first move. But you can't see it because Wendy didn't stop. Not even for a millisecond. Nobody but Wendy, me, Velvet, and Joyce knew I had messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But there were 40,000 people there. I mean, when I got in the ring, I hooked Velvet's arm and I said, look at all these friggin' people. And then my palms started sweating. And that's something else that I'd like to tell these kids today. Let me tell you something. If you walk out to that ring and you don't have butterflies, when that match is done, go get your gear, go home, and get yourself a day job. Because that means you don't have the feeling for the ring.
Exactly.
You know, they're not bringing the fans in. Sandy told me what my job was. Grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and the two kids are at the match. Dad has had a crappy week. His boss has been on his butt. You know, grandma's mad at grandpa. The two kids are fussing until that bell rings. Dad gets to scream at the bad guy, praise the good guy. That was his therapy.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what we are. We're therapy. And you can't be a therapist without psychology. You know, I can't count how many times I walked out to the ring. I knew what the first move was after the lockup. I knew the high spot. And I knew the finish. Everything that happened in between was up to the people.
Thank
If
you.
we were doing something and it didn't make those people glue their eyes to that ring, or, start chanting, princess or velvet or whatever, we were doing something wrong and we had to change now.
Change it. Exactly. Exactly. Today, it doesn't matter. How many times do you hear boring being yelled? How many times do you hear, you effed up all the time? Like they said it
Yeah.
to Triple H. How many? But the thing is, the problem is that people today know way too much. Okay. That's the problem. They know what to look for. They know they've taken everything out of what the sport was to begin with.
Let me tell you something a lot of people don't know.
What?
Do you know the business has been exposed more? I have to take off my shoes and count since 1950, starting in 1950. And it was wrestlers that were mad they didn't get the belt or whatever. But the boys and ladies held the kayfabe.
Exactly.
This time they let Vinny win. If they had kept to kayfabe, we wouldn't be where we are.
Exactly.
But I'm starting to have hope. I saw a friend of mine, Lucas Lane. I saw a match. Now, he's a wrestler and a promoter, but he's not your typical wrestling promoter. He put himself in the first match, a 10-minute technical to the draw match. The first thing that caught my eyes when he threw the guy into the turnbuckle, the guy hit the turnbuckle so hard it moved the ring 6 inches. From that moment, I was glued. No heel, no baby face, straight tech. By the way, for all you new guys, chain wrestling is what I'm talking about. We call it technical. And when it came to a draw at 10 minutes, I watched this school stadium. Every person in it stood up and chanted 10 more minutes.
Wow.
For
Okay.
Wow.
5 minutes. It's there. But the secret I didn't tell you was Lucas Lane, my friend, was trained by Sandy Barr, Ed Wiskowski, and Buddy Rose.
Wow.
That is unreal.
Yep.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's crazy.
Well, see, in a lot of what's going on, I blame on the trainers.
It's all it has a lot to do with the training. It has a lot to do with it. Sometimes these young kids are like robots though, and they're like, well, like you said, if I don't do A, B, and C, I'm lost. What do I do? All right.
Right.
And we had, and I repeat this a lot, but we had Dave Yohannan on as one of our guests in the beginning weeks, and he was telling us how back then too there was like no wrestling school where you went to a school and you were like, oh, okay, you pay this much money, you get these many hours, you train when you train. But a lot of their training, he said, came in the ring. Like he would go in the ring, he knew the finish, okay, but how it got to the finish was all up in the air.
Yep.
And he had said that he had gotten hurt so many times, and it was crazy because he learned everything that he learned strictly 100% in the ring. Outside, yeah, like you said, if you're going to train, you train, yeah. But nobody taught anybody how to wrestle back then. You learned it as you went along.
Right. And that's one thing I loved about Sandy was, although we weren't getting booked, Velvet and I were having a match every night. Every night that we trained, we were having a match. There was no crowd, nothing. And I just found something else out. I guess I should have stayed around so I'm not so far behind. Is in Portland, the ring was down here. There was a place up here that was called the Crow's Nest.
Okay.
That's where they did all the interviews.
Okay.
Well, when the lights were on over the ring, too bright to see the Crow's Nest, I found out that Sandy had the guys come and watch Velvet and I train standing in the Crow's Nest.
Okay.
And last year I went to do Vice TV, the territories. And now you're talking 40 years later, 40 pounds heavier.
Mm.
And just like every place else, you drop your bag in your room, you grab your cigarettes, whatever, your wallet, your Visa card, and you head to the restaurant or bar because that's where everybody is.
Right.
So I check in, drop my bag. I go to walk in the restaurant. I'm looking. I know Luke is there. I know Bret Hart was there, and I didn't know Bobby Bass was there, but he was there. And from 20 feet away, Luke Williams stood up. He recognized me. And when I walked up, he gave me the biggest daddy hug I've probably ever had. And I didn't know the man even knew my name. Then he proceeded to sit down at the table and he said, Velvet and Vicki paid their dues. I
Oh, that's
know.
nice.
I watched them. Well, it's like Bret Hart on Heartbeat Radio. And a lot of people don't understand this. Is we were talking about something that was going on, and I said something to the effect, yeah, I've been in more trunks than Samsonite, because I'm sorry, I didn't hang around the baby faces except for like Terry Allen, and I hung around the heels. So 2 blocks before I got in the trunk, they'd back up, I'd jump out of the trunk, and you unscrewed the light on the trunk, so when you opened
Yeah.
it up, it didn't come on.
Oh my God. I remember doing that with wrestlers when I was younger. I'm just going to run through this real quick with you. I was 6 years old when I first went to my first wrestling match. My parents were already involved in wrestling in their own way. Okay.
Right.
So I was there. I grew up in the Philadelphia arena. All right. But the wrestlers at that time, like we were saying, they had to find their own hotel, their own trans, their own this, their own that. So my mom and dad used to just take everybody back to our house.
Right.
And we'd stay up all night long. My mom would cook dinner, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day we'd take them to wherever they had to go or whatever. That's how I got introduced to wrestling. Then my mom passed away at a very young age. And then I took over. I started doing the cooking and having them over and this and that. And then it led to our first radio show, our first promotion, our first store, our first this and that and this. And then years and years later, here I am. Okay. And Jeannie, God bless her, was there for most of it with us, but you know what? It's something that it's hard to explain to somebody else how, as a female, you would want to have such a pull, such a feeling of wrestling. Like a lot of times, like, people that I work with don't even watch the podcast, because I said to my friend, why don't you watch a podcast? She's like, I hear you talking here all week long. Why would I want to watch you do it for a couple of hours? I said, it's different. It's different, And
we
every time,
send
like,
you to work with duct tape over your mouth.
Yeah. And every time, like, I'll say to David, oh, you watch this? I'm sending you something, watch it. And he'll be like, is it wrestling? And I'm like, yes. It's wrestling. Of course it's wrestling. And then I have it on my profile, and I have it here, and I have it there. I'm proud of it. I'm so proud of this. I'm proud of my relationship with wrestling. Believe it or not, in my personal life, I've had a lot of catastrophes. In wrestling, I never have. Wrestling was the good part of my life.
Right. And the only catastrophe I ever had is when I broke my neck. And a lot of people say, don't you regret that? No, I don't.
How did you break your neck? How did it happen?
A young lady it was in Philadelphia, and I can't remember whether she was picking me up for a pile driver or to hang me in the turnbuckles. You're basically picking up the same way.
Yeah.
And there was a wrinkle in the mat.
Oh.
And she tripped and sat on my head. It was a pure accident. Pure accident. It wasn't, she was trained well. It could have been the opposite way around it, and I had picked her up. I'd have done this, I'd have tripped too. But everybody says, don't you wish you could change it? No. Because if I hadn't broke my neck, I wouldn't have met my first husband, which, we can just kind of push him to the side, but I wouldn't have had my son. I would not have met Jack. And I wouldn't trade that for anything in this world. It was meant to happen.
I get that. Oh my God, do I get that? Oh my God, do I get that? It's true.
Now, Vicki, are you training now? Do you train at all now?
No, ma'am. I tried to take a bump about 10 years ago. And Actually, my I'm in pain management.
Mm.
I have degenerative disc bone disease. The doctor found where I broke my second vertebrae. At this time right now, 3, 4, and 5 have naturally fused together. I have autoimmune, I have fibromyalgia, I have osteoarthritis, and let me tell you something. All right, Tom, get ready for your plug. Tom Strasdis works for Diamond Dallas Page. He is working with me in DDPY.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
I have went from not being able to raise my hand this far to being able to do this.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what? I wish I could afford to do that. That would be so nice.
I will give you his phone number. You know how much he charges me? 0.
But he doesn't know me. He's not going to do that for me.
No, but he'll do it for me.
Give him my number.
You'll give it, text it to me. I'll give it to him. They start out very gently. You're doing low impact yoga. You start in a chair. And you start just holding your arms out like this, holding an imaginary ball. Now, when I first started, I could do this, but I couldn't go past this when I went up. Now I'm up to here.
Wow.
And
Well,
this
see, I
started
have
in August.
Well, my knees, I've had both knees replaced twice.
Right.
I have an artificial shoulder and I have 2 spinal fusions. I also have stenosis. So some of that stuff is hard, but I'm willing to do it, to give it a shot.
Oh, yeah. It has. I have went from, so far, I had better than 80% bad days to now I'm more than 50% good days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And I'm just getting into doing it in the chair to doing it out of the chair.
Okay.
Tom knows. He watches you and well, if you got one more in you, and I'll go, well, we'll find out, won't we?
Exactly.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Tom,
that is awesome. What I want to talk about before we cut
Wait a minute, she was going to say something about
I'm
Tom.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. What you were going to say about Tom? I apologize.
All right. Hint, hint, hint. Tom is doing some research on a book about me, and this is deep research.
Okay.
I found out that my great grandfather was a gypsy who threw knives at the shows.
Uh-huh. Are you serious?
Has a heart attack.
Oh my God, that is wonderful.
And he is
Holy crap.
He is doing a complete historical through the childhood, into wrestling, and after wrestling. This is not, although I love my book, this one right here. Princess Victoria, A Story of Tears, Triumphs, and Turnbuckles. I sell them for $35 autographed, and I take care of the postage.
Where can people get them, though? Just contact you on Facebook?
Contact me on Facebook. Let's see. I got that little card. All right. It's www.facebook.com/vicki.otis.7. Or just type in Vicki Otis, and I'm usually at the top.
Well, okay. The other thing is they can call us or contact us at 316carmela.com, 316carmela@gmail.com, and we will let them know how they can get in touch with you to get the book, okay? But this other book, I want to be a big part
Now,
of reading that and getting that. I want to
oh
know.
yeah,
Well,
no, absolutely.
he
Now,
is,
Vicki, are you also on like Instagram or anything like
yes,
that?
anything that I type on Facebook, I've linked it, Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook. So
Just so
anything that,
people, yeah.
yeah.
So would
And
would it be easier to look up Vicki Otis or Princess Victoria?
Vicki Otis, Vicki, Otis, O-T as in Tom, I-S.
Good. Okay. Anybody who wants any information on Victoria, please let us know. We will get it for you. We will get you to her. Okay. No
Okay.
problem whatsoever. I want to ask you real quickly too. Yes, you're going like this to your neck. Tell us about your jewelry. I want to talk about that real quick.
I made this.
That's
I
beautiful.
I do I do both Indian style jewelry. I also do jewelry just made for you.
Okay.
Like right now I'm doing a rosary. But I don't pre-make. I have some pieces that are pre-made, but I can make it. You tell me the colors. Do you want a choker? Do you want a necklace? Do you want earrings? Do you want a bracelet? Tell me what you want. I'll put the beads together, take a picture, hit you up with the picture. Is this combination you want? And I make it to your specifications.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you have any of them that like do you deal with, let's say, the crystals, the good lucks, the purity, the all that
Oh,
stuff too?
you mean amethyst and
Yes, yes,
emeralds
yes.
and oh shoot, malachite.
Like
My
and a
beads,
healing, like if I want a necklace with a healing stone on it, can you
right?
do that too?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, great.
And like I said, I'll make it to your specifications. If you want a necklace, tell me what length. And what I tell people is take a piece of string, wrap it around your neck, find out where you want the bottom of that to be.
Okay.
Then put it against a tape measure and send me the measurements.
Okay, you got it.
And
Um
and I have more fun making jewelry for someone in particular. I mean, I do get bored. It keeps me out of trouble.
I hear you on that too. I do. But I want to ask you something else too. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to talk to Susan Green tonight because she's having difficulty. But I'd like to ask you, I still want to have you and Susan on the same show. Would you be willing to come back again?
Of course I would.
Well, because I got to tell you, I got to tell you honestly, and I know we're going to get good feedback on this. You are exemplary. You are amazing. I never met you, and that's my loss. Okay, and I'm sorry for that.
You've
But
met me now.
I have now, yeah. But
Yeah.
I know, you are an exemplary person. You have come up
Yes.
from the
An
ashes.
inspiration.
Oh my God,
A
just like a
complete
phoenix.
badass.
Yeah, you're
Just,
like the
yeah.
phoenix
And
of wrestling. You are.
and
An amazing human.
and anybody and the one thing, this is something, and I'm going to go back to what we were talking about at the first. A lot of people don't realize that men go through the same thing that women go
Absolutely.
through. But
Absolutely.
they have this thing in their mind. And I lost two brothers to it because
That's awful.
my brother James committed suicide. He couldn't get
Oh,
past it. Um my brother Scott got AIDS and died.
oh my God. I'm so
My bro
sorry.
my other brother, and I can't mention his name, is an stone cold alcoholic who only has one kid out of 10 that will talk to him.
Wow.
And it's sad. It's
Yeah.
very, very sad. I got lucky. I
Well,
got
can
lucky.
I interject there for a minute and say you also got blessed? Okay,
Yes.
it's a blessing that you
Yes.
and me and people like us are alive today. Okay, I mean, you know, you made me cry once. I'm not going to do it again. All right, but
I don't mean to make you cry.
no problem. But this is why, like I always say to people, you don't know what somebody's going through. Okay. If somebody reacts a certain way and you don't understand that way, or you don't like that way, talk to them about it first. Like,
don't yell and scream.
right.
Just, okay, dude, what's
Yeah.
going on?
And see, and I'll be honest, that's where I'm wrong sometimes. Like I said, I have a tendency to want everything the way I think it should be. Otherwise, we're going to go at it, period. And I need to stop that. I'm trying.
You're getting, you've got to have your control back is what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
You couldn't control what happened years ago, but you can control it now. And that's what you're going through.
And I put it into overdrive. See,
Yep.
and the problem with me is I just, within the past maybe 10 years, came out openly about it. That's
Right.
part of what the problem is, because I had kept it shoved down for so long. And now that, and I don't, like, a lot of times you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know what to do. And a lot
Right.
of times, unfortunately, I take it out on the people that I care for the most. And I really never should do that. And it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it,
How my grandmother put up with me, because I hated the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, literally hated the world. And that old woman, I called her the old bat. I used to love it. I'd call her up long distance in wrestling, and she's 5'2" and full-blooded German. And I'd call her up and I'd say, "Hey, you old bat, how you doing?" And she'd giggle just like a schoolgirl.
I love it.
My grandmother has a lot to do with the person I am today.
Yep.
I can't say that I took all of her lessons when I should have, but over the years, I'll go to do something and I'll do it. Wait a minute. That's how grandma told me to do it.
Exactly.
It comes back. I got lucky. I mean, with the guys, with the wrestling, with my grandparents, all of that. And then Ann Guile, telling me those 2 sentences, which, think about it.
Yeah.
You're still here.
Amazing. Yeah.
You're still standing.
Thank you, Jesus. Exactly.
You have survived. Do not let them win. Because if you give up, they win. If you stand tall and look at them and say, "I made it, asshole."
That's exactly. Thank you. That means a lot. It does. It really means a lot. I can't thank you enough for being on this show.
Yes.
I really can't. I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. When we first decided to have you on,
yes,
I thought to myself, I didn't even begin to know what to say. Like, I talked to Susan, and Susan's like, don't worry about it. I talked to her on the phone already. She's cool. She's fine. And I was like, I did research. I do research on everybody. And I'm like, oh my God, what do we talk about? But you know what? It was so easy. You made it so easy. And I'm so appreciative. You are an incredible, incredible woman. And again, we tried to do our best to help women. We try to do our best to push forward with women. And that's what we need to do with everybody. And women in any capacity need help. And I think that it's important that as far as we've come, we still have farther to go. And you are a perfect example of that. Victoria, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it.
It was our honor
so much.
God.
It was an honor. It was truly an honor. It really was. But we will get Susan on with you next time. So right now, I'll call you over the weekend and we'll get a date together.
All right. Have you got my number, or do I need?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you got my number.
And I just sent you mine. You told me to send you mine while you were talking. I sent it to you just now. Okay, well, listen, I'm going to take you off the screen and say goodbye. Jeannie and I are going to close out the show. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
You have been a beautiful guest and a wonderful woman, and thank you. I can't thank you enough.
I'm looking forward to being. If you think I'm bad, wait till you get me and Susan
together.
Tex together. Now, she likes to be called Tex.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Yes. We call her Susan. Okay. We'll call her Tex when she comes back on.
No, she told me if you're my friend, we had known each other a while. I kept calling her Susan, and she said my friends call me Tex.
Okay, then. Well, I consider her a friend, so I will start calling her Tex, and I'm
There
going to
you
say
go.
that to her. I'm going to say, "Why didn't you tell me that your friends call you Tex?" She's great. Oh my God, she is
She is
awesome. We
amazing.
have
Yes.
been so blessed to have met so many
She
kind
was so
people.
nice. I have it right here. Hold on.
She did. Look at what she did for us. Jeannie's got it.
There's a few of them, but she
Yeah.
sent us
Oh
these
wow! Yeah.
autographed pictures
Yeah.
Yep.
She sent Jeannie and
of
me
her,
autographed
and
pictures.
I
Love her.
absolutely,
Sweet.
absolutely love.
Love
That's the way
her.
she
She's
is.
amazing.
She's
Absolutely
all
love her to
giving.
death.
She is
Yep.
all
Yes.
giving.
She's
If I was
wonderful.
to lose everything here right now, I could call her up and said, "Can we clean out the extra bedroom?" It'd be clean by the time I got there, even with her broken ankle.
Oh, I know. Poor
I
Susan.
know.
Well, you know what? I told Susan, where do you live right now, Victoria?
I'm just outside of Guthrie, Oklahoma, which
Okay,
is about
well,
35 miles north of Oklahoma City.
okay, well, I had said to Susan that, or Tex, that one day Jeannie and I are going to take a ride down there. We're going to go meet her. I've never met her in person either. So maybe we'll make it a long one and we'll go visit both of you, or if we can get you both together, that'd be great.
Sounds good. Or
I
we
would
could
love
do it.
that.
Think about this. The gathering is coming up in North Carolina.
I know. I know. Are you going to be there?
Yes.
And
As far as I know right now, that's my plan.
is Tex going to be there too?
Yes, she is going to
Okay.
be there.
Well, it's
So
something to talk about. It's something to talk about. We'll see what happens. But again, thank you so much. God bless
Yes.
you. And I pray to God that every success you ever wanted will come your way. You deserve it.
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies, I have enjoyed this so much. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
Oh my
Mwah.
God. You
You have a
too.
great
Thank
night.
you. Mwah.
And is it okay if we call you friend now?
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
is.
I'm so excited.
With women, we don't have to friend over a beer. We friend talking.
You got that right. Lots of talking.
There you go.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
All right. Good
Okay,
night,
thank
ladies.
you. Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Wow. That's all I got to say is wow. What a woman. What a show. She is unreal. Unreal.
Yeah. Just an
Wow.
amazing human being.
She is.
Just
Tough as nails.
inspirational, tough
Yeah.
as nails, total badass.
Yeah. Don't take any crap. Good for her.
And
she has been through it.
And yeah. And just it's just she's very inspirational. Very
She's amazing.
inspirational.
I hope everybody who watches it understands the context with what we're trying to do here. We're trying to bring out the good. We're trying to show the good. We're trying to push the good. We're trying to show people what it was like compared to what it is like, and to let you realize that these people like Susan Green, like Vicki Otis, like especially the women, made wrestling what it is today. And you know me, Jeannie, and you know that I hate it when people don't get their just dues and their just rewards. I just hate it. And she deserves that. Yes. I knew nothing about her except what I read on the internet. And she is amazing. She's wonderful. Anybody who wants jewelry, you can reach out to us and we'll reach out to her. She's right on Facebook as well. I neglected to say hello to people that we wanted to say hello to. Congratulations again to Devious Cass. God bless you. You deserve every blessing you get. Such a good boy. Okay. Such a good kid. Again, thanks to the people over at IHOP. Thanks to Debbie. God bless Debbie. I forgot I was going to say something about Debbie and I can't remember. I took her over to see Rich. We went over to Rich's house. I cut his hair and I brought Debbie with me. And oh my God, she had the best time. We had the best time. It was so funny. Well, I'll have to go over there another time. Just want to say hello again to our wonderful regulars, Douglas, Michelle, Mike, Ed, Chuck. Okay, let's talk about Chuck. You always bring Chuck up before I do, but Chuck, God bless you, Chuck. I got to tell you, you are in every way possible a gem. This man seriously has done so much to help me. so far in a few things, endeavors that we're doing, that I can't even think straight. I mean, I'm at a complete loss for why he cares enough to try to help. He's a wonderful man, and I love you
Yes.
dearly. Again, to David, poor David, always caught in the crossfire of my temper, and I'm sorry. I apologize. And David is a good man, a good person. By the way, David also has a book out that I'm going to probably bring on one time. He also does um he doesn't sing, but he has audios of poetry that he's written, which is so cool. And it's like one of those it's like a talk sing kind of album. So he's doing really good with that stuff, and we're going to do the best we can to help him push that a little bit as well. He's
But can any of his poems be your poem? I'm out of the closet. I'm no longer meek. I'm finally admitting I'm a wrestling freak.
Nothing will ever beat
Just
that
saying.
poem. Oh my
Just
God.
saying.
Yeah, we
I
got to put
tease
that back on
David.
a t-shirt.
I tease you, David.
No,
Just
David's
kidding.
a good guy. He's a good
Yeah.
person. Okay, so we're out of here. I'm tired. And it's Friday night, and SmackDown's on tonight. Why I'm going to watch it, I don't know, but I am. Okay, because I watch everything. I watch TNA now too. Now I have the channel. So the only night that I don't watch wrestling is Sunday, and that's when I watch 90 Day Fiance. Whatever, it's part of my life. But anyway, Jeannie, I will talk to you over the weekend. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you again to Princess Victoria, Vicki Otis.
Yes.
God bless her in any endeavor she ever does again. We are so excited. Can't wait to have her back. Jeannie, take care. Have a great night. I love you.
Thanks. I love you.
Okay. See ya.